Hello, and welcome back to Hands On. I am your host, Kaleb Ranquist. Coming up, host Shane Craig interviews co-instructor of the Health Occupations program, Jennifer Bailey, as well as current student Gavin Hart, about what they do in the class.
What is the program and what do you think about it?
So in health occupations, our ultimate goal is to get our CNA certification at the end of the year. Our students have to do a state test in order to be certified. But we learn a lot of things throughout the year. We just finished up CPR, vital signs. We get a lot of other certificates. We do some medical terminology and get 3 college credits for medical terminology.
How would you describe how the classroom feels and how the vibe is generally?
I feel like our classroom is pretty comfortable. Our students, we do a lot of hands-on with each other and practice on each other, so they get very comfortable with each other. We have a very open communication, and we really have a lot of fun learning.
When students join the program, what is usually the reason why they join or why they end up taking it?
Most of our students are planning on going on to college or another certificate program. A lot of our students do nursing. We've had some students do physical therapy. We had a student last year that was actually going on to medical school. So it's kind of a good stepping stone to kind of figure out if the medical field is really something that they're interested in.
What inspired you to become an instructor here?
Honestly, when I was considering college, I was really thinking between nursing and teaching. I was a clinical nurse for about 23 years and was looking to try something a little bit different. So teaching in this program was really, I found out about the opportunity and I've loved it. It's great.
Is there anything special about the program, especially when compared to school, that you think makes it a lot better for kids?
I think our students choose the program, right? They want to be here and they love it. They're really eager to learn and it makes it like a really great environment for them.
What is it like here at the program?
So at the program, we basically learn basic skills for helping patients, also known as residents in the hospital setting. We learn how to take care of them, blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, respiration, and how to take care of them health-wise and taking care of their beds, personal needs, personal care, and through classwork, lecture, and homework, and also hands-on videos and hands-on learning.
And I'm wondering, what is the normal day like while you're doing work and then also while you're doing more activities toward actually an actual hospital setting?
So usually the day starts off with everyone in the classroom. They tell us what we're going to be going over. We lecture for about an hour and a half-ish, and then we transfer into a hands-on area, usually doing vital signs or today we did stopping bleeding, so we do that to focus on saving someone's life, and then we go and we do a bit more lecture, and then the day basically ends there.
All right. What inspired you to get into the program?
I've just always had just an interest in doing something in the medical field. At first it was a doctor, then nursing, and then I heard about the CNA program here, so I was like, this would help me become a nurse, so that's just why I joined it.
How would you say that this program is different from a normal school?
The program's different because we start off the day with lecture, and then it's also more hands-on than what you can get from an actual learning school-wise. We lecture, then we do hands-on stuff with the stuff that we just went over, and then we do more lecture to review what we just did.
And do you plan to take what you've learned into a future job or career, or just in general life?
I plan on taking it into my future career as what I want to go to for nursing, and have a bit of background in it, so I'm already kind of introduced into the society of healthcare and health work.
And what is the, vibe like in the classroom with the rest of the students?
The vibe is really safe, secure. Everyone gets along. There's not really like arguing or shouting. Everyone kind of works as a team. We help each other through like constructive criticism and emotional support if we need it through the class.
Is there anything else we haven't asked you about that you'd like to let us know about the program?
The teachers are really nice and inviting, and everyone is able to get at least one part in the show or action, as you might say. And it also really helps people expand and see what they want to go with by their experiences.
Next up, host Shane Craig interviews current firefighting student Sarah Silva about her experiences in class. And afterwards, I interview former firefighting student Dawson Dow about his experiences in the class and what he's up to now.
What do you think of the course and the program itself?
Good for people that really want to get into this program and really want to like go and save other people and really get out there and really want to help.
What inspired you to join the program?
I want to go into the either medical or like somewhere to help field, and this is a very good field in that area.
And what is like the general day, or what do you typically learn while you're here at the program?
We usually run through drills that revolve around real world situations with if that is tying knots or going through a maze that's we had a trailer with the maze in it that we had to crawl through, and we have all these real world situations that as firefighters we might be in, and it really helps us in that.
And I'm wondering, how is the general vibe, or how is it generally in the classroom?
Everybody's super cool, super if you need help, somebody will help you, and it's a very chillax place.
Have you guys had to actually go out and deal with any real life situations?
Not yet, and we just kind of try to stick around here because, fighting fires is a little extreme for a first quarter firefighting program.
Then do you have any plans to use what you've learned from the program in a future career, or just in everyday life?
I'm planning on going into being a volunteer firefighter for one of our local departments and helping out when I can.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the program that I haven't asked about?
If you really want to go into this field, come right here. It's the best place.
So, when did you graduate from Tri-County?
I graduated last year in June. I started Tri-County when I was a freshman in high school. Was in 2 programs before firefighting, and then did firefighting for the last 2 years of my high school career.
So what did you do your first 2 years?
My freshman year, I was in the Tech Foundations program, which is now the Energy Systems. And then I was in the automotive program my sophomore year.
What kind of stuff did you do in Tech Foundations?
Basic plumbing operations. That year was also the COVID year. So we were able to get started with the year. We did a lot of plumbing stuff, heating, learning the distribution, electricity stuff. When we went out, it was more just recording weather data from your house, and I enjoyed that program very well.
All right. So what kind of stuff did you do in firefighting?
Well, firefighting, when I first started in the program itself, it was only the second year, and I had no knowledge in the firefighting service.
So is that like second year as in your second year at Tri-County or second year of the program?
The second year of the program. He had just started it the year prior to me going in. So he was still trying to figure out all the bugs and what he could improve on. So it was still tricky at first, and I could tell that he was having a hard time figuring all the bugs out. But when I started, we had enough to manage through. But if you look at it today, I was going from no knowledge into a fire service, and the moment I walked in that room, I learned stuff within the first 2 days, and I was actually pretty impressed by it, stuff like that.
All right. So what kind of activities did you guys do? Did you do was it more physical stuff, or was it more book work, testing? What kind of stuff?
Well, pretty much every day is different, just like any other day. You walk in, you sit down for a little bit. We all do a check-in, talk about how everything's going in life, and then talk about how the day is going to go, what our future plans are. Then we do a little bit of PT, push-ups, sit-ups, run laps around the building with full gear on, which for some people, it was pretty entertaining. I mean, it's not always fun running around with air on your back and all that gear on because it gets hot quick.
Yeah. I actually haven't heard, I don't think Mr. Wentworth ever mentioned that, how hot it can get.
It doesn't take much to start sweating. All it takes is getting geared up, and once you start adding the physical activity and behind it, swinging tools around, just moving in general, you will sweat pretty quickly. The temperatures behind those coats, they look like they'd be comfortable, but you sweat, and it's very hot.
So is the stuff also incredibly heavy to carry around?
It depends on what you're doing, really. It also depends on if you're in the classroom and you're just doing regular PT during the day, you're not gonna be too heavy. But I mean, once you start going outside, doing our forcible entry stuff, going in the maze trailer, climbing around in there, it starts to get a little more heavier on your back and stuff. So it's important that we do PT in the morning, stretch our muscles a little bit, so that way you don't stiff up, because it does get heavy after a while of wearing it.
Yeah, sounds like it could cause some strains over time.
It absolutely could. I know a lot of people that, they've been in the fire service for so long, and some of them are fine. Some of them, you could just tell it wears on their body quick. It does not take long at all, especially when you are very active with it.
Yeah. What kind of stuff are you up to now after Tri-County?
So currently I work at local hardware store. I stay very active with the advisory board committee, which what we do is it's a group of people in the fire EMS services around this area from different towns that we associate with in Tri-County. Pretty much what we do is we sit down every month usually, and we just talk about the programs, how can we improve. I did not join the advisory board until my second year of firefighting, and now I've pretty much kind of set up the meetings, figure out what we need to discuss. So I stay very active. Mr. Wentworth is a great instructor to have here. I could call him right now and say, hey, I'd like to do this. And he says, sure, get everything together and let me know. I try to keep everything going for the programs. I see potential in them to get better in the future. And then I'm also on Dexter Fire Department. I volunteer right around this area, so I stay pretty busy with the fire service itself.
Well, that's really cool to hear that you're kind of getting into all this stuff that Tri-County helped you to learn about and get into. How was your second year of firefighting different than your first year?
So the first year of firefighting, obviously I told you in the beginning, I came in with little to no experience. And by the time that we had gone on winter break, I was pretty comfortable with everything in there. We did our officers, which we promoted a captain and 2 lieutenants, depending on class size and what we can accommodate. That year we had exactly that. I stepped in as an acting officer every now and then, no idea what I was doing, but I feel like I made a good impact on everything. And then when I came back the second year, I decided to come back and see if I could learn some more of the program. And I ran for an officer again, and I got the captain, and I had 2 lieutenants that were under me. It was pretty stressful. People would look at it as, why is it stressful? It's just a tech center. You're not an actual fire service. Well, what they really don't understand is even though I have those 2 people under me, it's hard to get training and everybody's focus on it, even if they love the fire service or they're just in it to get the credit.
Would you say that you're happy that you decided to come to Tri-County?
I am very happy. My freshman year, I started when we did the pre-Tech Foundations program. I kind of had a little experience where my dad is a plumber, so I kind of walked in, knew what some of the equipment was, but just started to build these diagrams and figuring everything out. That was a little tricky at first, but it didn't take long. The automotive class, Mr. Pelletier is great. He is a top-notch guy. Had a lot of respect for him. He cared about the class, and he was willing to help you at any time. And of course, then it just goes to Mr. Wentworth for my last 2 years. He was great. 31 years at Bangor Fire, he knew what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And it, not just Mr. Wentworth that made the school year better. We had people come in from outside departments. St. Albans Fire sent quite a few people over. A Newport Fire, Plymouth Fire, Bangor. We had people help from everywhere, and it was greatly appreciated. I wouldn't know half the stuff that I learned those days now if they didn't come in and teach it.
Well, that's really awesome that you did enjoy coming here and meeting all these people and getting all the experience that you needed. What advice would you give to someone who wants to come to Tri-County, but they're not 100% sure what they want to do?
My advice is they offer tours. Set up a tour with somebody. Call Mr. Levitt, call the school, set up a tour, because we had several shadows come in for a day, and sometimes we had repeated shadows. Sometimes they thought, the first day was, I'd like to do another day. Sure, come on in. I would encourage anybody to come in there and just shadow it, and if you like it, come back and join the class.
All right, well, do you have any other things you'd like to talk about?
I have so much love for the programs around here. The people, Mr. Levitt, Mr. Wentworth, everybody that works for TCTC is 100% great. They're supportive. They're always there for you. As far as Mr. Wentworth, if he was to not be the instructor right now, I probably wouldn't be involved as much as I could be, because there's nobody like him, and I enjoy working beside him and helping us get to the right spot in this program.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Finally, I had the honor of talking to former Tri-County Technical Center Director Dr. Patrick O'Neill about his experience at Tri-County Technical Center, what he's doing now, and his involvement in career and technical education. What was it like being the director of Tri-County?
Well, it's always exciting to be a director of a school like this, because not only are you learning hands-on things, you're also learning about potential when you leave school for jobs that might be out there that you've trained for. And it's exciting to see students come in and actually do hands-on work and really get involved with their programs.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like about Tri-County is that we get to do all this hands-on stuff. We get access to all these fun toys and, these fun, expensive equipment. We call them toys.
But in reality, it's the real deal, because on the outside, when you get into a field like this is the equipment you'd be working with. So you're getting exposure and experience at the same time.
Yep, and also at Tri-County, there's a whole lot of iterating over things. Like with this podcast, we just moved to this new setup.
Yeah.
And this might be one of our first ones in the new setup. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
And this was all to help with the stuff that we need to do in post. Everyone else has no idea the work that it takes.
Right. Too bad we don't have too much. We don't have too much space in this building.
Yeah.
But I think Mr. Cole and you students have really done a great job creating the atmosphere of multimedia.
Yeah, it's a great program here. So how is being a director different than just being like a principal at a school?
Well, you're involved with people in the industry. We have advisory boards, folks that are in those various fields of the programs that we operate. And they have kind of skin in the game. So they talk to us a couple of times during the course of the year to make sure that any equipment that's out there we're apprised of. And we don't get obsolete as far as equipment is concerned, because that's very crucial. If you fall too far behind in buying equipment that's relative to the professions that are out there in this time, it could be very costly down the road, because you're always trying to catch up. So if we stay ahead of the game, our finances are not as well stretched as they should be.
So, are you also in charge of like the financial aspect, like the budgeting?
Yes. Every administrator is in charge of their budget. The budget has to be put together based on the needs for the upcoming school year, and all that is looked at by the school board before it goes out to vote.
How long were you a director?
Well, this wasn't my first gig. I was the director here for 9 years, and Mr. Levitt took my place, as you know. And before that, I was a superintendent, and before that, I was a high school principal. Basically, I've done everything in education for almost 52 years.
Yeah, I've been told that you basically have qualifications for everything.
Yes, that's correct. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. Time goes fast. I didn't realize it until recent years when you look back and say, my God, it's flown by. And it's pretty scary when I run into some students I had back in the day. They're grandparents already.
That's crazy.
It is.
Time flies.
It sure does.
So what are you up to now?
Well, right now I'm the assistant superintendent, so I'm doing light duty, so to speak, assisting Mr. Jordan. And the other part of my life is I sit on several boards. I keep active civically, if you will, and I'm writing. I do a lot of writing, and currently I'm helping out in substitute work here at the school.
That's pretty cool that you had the chance to come over. And so how much has changed since you were last here?
Well, you've gotten a lot of new equipment, and you've picked up, I believe, 3 new programs. I myself, when I was director here, I brought in 4 programs. And so I'm glad to see the school is expanding. Our space, though, has always been an issue. And it is my hope and the hope of a lot of folks that I've worked with that we someday will get a comprehensive high school where students from our sending districts can come to one building, get both their academics and their CTE training over 4 years.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of set up almost like a college campus.
Very, very, very similar to that. In fact, we would have college folks on the campus as well.
Well, that's really cool that you guys are thinking about not just our space in the moment, but potentially trying to expand it to the best of its ability, I guess. Are there any upcoming plans for any changes being made to the tech center that you're aware of?
Well, I know that Director Levitt is trying to get a welding program up and started, and basically that's in the works right now. And they're hopeful that something might be opening up in the fall if everything falls into place. If not this fall, maybe the following fall. And it's a particular trade that's very much needed in the area. There's a lot of logging operations. There's a lot of tanker transportation, et cetera, et cetera. So welders are needed for, a variety of jobs in our area.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'm excited to be here as a sub. One of our colleagues, one of the teachers, is going through some, medical issues, and I'm currently covering that class, and I'm enjoying the work with the students, and it kind of keeps me, apprised of how things are going with not only that class but classes. I find, and I've always found, that the students that come here are very polite, and when they come in here, they get ready to go to work, and they work pretty hard all day.
Yeah, and I find that it's usually the case because when they come here, they're doing what they want to do. They're not going because they have to. They're going because they like it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when you're calling for buses here, sometimes you have to tell students, it's time to go, guys. Pack up. It's time to go. Because you're right, they really get into their work because they enjoy it, and that's a good thing to see today.
Yeah, I've personally had a couple times here where Mr. Cole usually stays a lot later, but I've had some times where I've said, "Oh, can I stay a couple extra minutes to finish this up?" And it's usually pretty flexible because I don't take a bus, I drive, so I could stay here basically as long as I need to, if I need to finish up something quickly. And that's pretty nice that they're flexible about it.
Right, and I think what you're doing is a real good thing too, because by having these podcasts, you're bringing people in here that obviously have some attachment to this facility. Maybe they even went here. But by and large, you're getting the message out that it's a good thing to come to Tri-County Tech. And CTE programs across the United States, they're important. We have a population now where the great generation of baby boomers are starting to retire in big numbers. And in some cases, there are not a lot of replacements to take over their jobs. So it's important to get the skills while you're young and then plan ahead. You know, you might want to go to college right away, or you might want to go to college after several years out and working in a particular field that you've chosen to do. So I'm encouraged by the things that I see here, and hopefully it continues.
One of my biggest things that I'm hoping to come out of this podcast is to help almost anybody who's conflicted as to coming here, doesn't know what to do. I really hope that they can sit down and listen to some of these and kind of come in with an open mind and want to be here.
That's very, very important. And I think besides students, which basically are the key to this place, the more students we can have in here and learning trades, the better the programs will become, because we'll have more and more firepower, if you will, to say that, look, we can't, we have waiting lists, and we have in some programs, but if we had waiting lists for all these programs, we would push the issue very, very seriously to build a bigger facility, and that's what's needed. The other part of that is you're letting the general public know, hopefully some of the elderly folks who used to come here for their luncheons, those people saw what the kids were doing here, what the students are doing in each program, and they're getting a good flavor of what's happening under this roof. And so I think overall it's a good PR tool for both the young folks in the community, their parents, and their grandparents.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Dr. O'Neill.
You're quite welcome, and good luck with promoting this even more.
Thank you so much.